Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, this is Huw and Lorraine, a Black Business Recommendation. And tonight, our special guest is Mr. Kase. Now, you may have heard me tell you to get your your notepads and
Notepad and
pens.
pen ready.
Boy, you better be ready because this man has a lot of information. He's a bastion of knowledge, and he's a specialist in his work. So, we are privileged. Kase, seriously, we are privileged. Thank you very much for joining us and giving
Welcome.
our community, shall we say, your support. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna hit the ball straight down the line. Ain't nobody catching this one. This is going straight up and out. Kase, what is your experience? What are you about? Because we've got here that there are some people who are going to try to understand what you are showing us, what you are trying to teach. But digital marketing consultant and coach. Now, what is that about?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about how I even got involved in all of this. So I'm come from a background of e-commerce. I actually used to work for when I first got to France after about a year, because I was 14 years living and working in France, and that's where my web experience started. That's where my career started, working for Louis Vuitton as an e-commerce supervisor. Now, when I left Louis Vuitton, I decided that I wanted to go into something that I've always wanted to do, because at the time when I left secondary school, back in the day, doing graphic design and everything like that was too expensive for my mum. We're not poor, but we didn't have that money to put into what was a lot. It was really expensive back in the day, in the 90s, early 90s. So when I left Louis Vuitton in 2008 or so, I decided that this would be a perfect opportunity for me to get back into what I wanted to do, which is graphic design. I did a lot of graphics, and I taught myself how to do Photoshop, Illustrator, and then I taught myself how to build my own website. And that's when I first got into website design, right? So I had my first website, and it was like show my mom and show my friends, and that's my website. And it was just like about the portfolio, see my stuff kind of thing. So I went afterwards in 2010 and did a degree in internet marketing project management. And I paid at the time this was in 2010, I paid at the time about £4,000. And that was a third of actually the whole course. It was a really expensive course. So I went into that course. I did that, and when I came out, I was so sure that the job market is gonna grab me and just say, "Yeah, come here, let's upgrade your salary." And it didn't run like that at all, at all. I did get a job close to what I was expecting, but pretty far at the same time. And I got that job in January, and by April, I got what they called is the itch. So that itch is when you're at work and you're just thinking to yourself, I need to be doing more than this. If I come back in here, something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Go wrong. So I spoke to my boss, and my boss really he did belittle me. He was like, who do you think you are, trying to, step up kind of thing. And it was at that time, and I don't recommend anybody do it like this, but it was about this time that I decided I want to do my own thing. And they were going to renew me, as it was like this renewable thing. And I just left, and I started to actually have my own business designing websites. So at the time, it was a big chunk of my money, even though it's not that much now, but it's a big chunk of my money at the time. It was about £800 I paid for this online course, the first online course that I've done. And I've done so many of them. And as we spoke to you, I've done a course of 14,000 at one point. But anyway, so I did this course, and it was £800. It was called Learn Web Development, and it taught you how to do website with WordPress and so on. So I learned a lot of skills. But within their process, which I don't believe in at all, they said the first thing you to do is go and get yourself a free customer. Yeah, just get your services out there and just give it away for free. So I remember when I got my first client, and it was for free, and I was so happy, even though it was for free, right? I was like, oh my God, I've got my first client. He wants me to build something for him. So I built that for him. But it didn't take long for me to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And I sold my next website for 3,500. It was an e-commerce website. Now, I did that. It was Chris, everything was nice. But the lady came back to me about 2 months or 3 months later, and she said to me, the website's fine, but can you help me? It's not making any money. And I didn't take it as being that I did anything wrong. It was the first time that I thought to myself, it's true. It's not just about the website looking nice. It's supposed to make money, especially because it's an e-commerce website. And I thought back to Louis Vuitton, how much they're making and whatnot. And so I started to get really obsessed about online business. I started to realize that if I don't do something differently, the people I make websites for, it's no different from making a kit car for somebody who you know can't drive, give them the keys and watch them just smash into a wall.
Yeah.
It's not good for them and it's not good for me. So since then and up until now, I've specialized in helping people understand exactly what it means to have an online presence beyond just getting a website. So a lot of the time I reel people in with what is called a website audit, which is allowing them, well, not allowing them, but giving them a good 45 minutes of bare value. It's about £400 for this service. But just get them in to like say to them, this is what's wrong. This is what you need to do. This is what your competition's doing. This is what your the potential clients you're looking for need to be seeing on your website. And then usually like, oh my God, I knew there was something wrong. Can you help me fix it? And it's at that time.
One second. Yeah, 1 second. Now, website audits. I've not heard that before.
Yeah,
okay.
And if you're doing a website audit, if I have a website and it's been out for 3 months, can you do that website audit? What is
now, a lot of the time with a website audit, I won't do a website audit unless the website's been online for about 2 years.
Why is that?
Okay.
Because even if you don't do anything with the website in the sense of optimizing it or putting any content on it or anything like that, Google itself is going to keep on going past that website and having a look. So Google and the way that it works, and I'm gonna flip it for you afterwards when we start to go into a bit of thinking about how people search for things on the internet. But Google's going to do a pass over the website, right? It's going to do what's called indexing. So it's going to take a snapshot of the website. It's going to keep on checking. And with all of its little algorithms, I say little, but they make their money, right? But with all of their little algorithms, they're going to say, okay, that website is going to be shown, if it's done correctly, in the list of queries when somebody asks for that. So if we do it within 3 months, it's not enough time for it to be indexed. There's not enough data for us to really look at. And as I was telling a client just the other day, you can only improve what you can measure. And at 3 months, there's really nothing to measure. So you'll see that when you dig into data, you'll see zeros everywhere you look.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is see a little bit of data so we can start to see exactly where it is, where it's trying to get to and what we need to do to get there. So when working with people on the website audit, is to get them to understand how search intent works. So exactly how does somebody who's looking for something, you, me, or anybody else, how did they act when they're looking for a solution to a problem? And then how do you align your website to that search intent? So it's going to be beyond images, right? Because we're going to have to start thinking about who are we trying to attract? What are we trying to help them with? How do we let them know that we can actually help them? How do we actually find out what level of understanding they've got about how we can help them or their problem, right? So what I tend to do is just the way my process works, is whenever somebody works with me on their website, is we start to get deep down into the plumbing of the business.
Okay.
Like a deep dive into the inner workings of it.
Can I
Go on.
from there? Right. There was a point in which when you were speaking about, the data, we looked at the back end of the group. And I think to a certain degree, what you say has actually made sense to what we received, because it was literally a year in which we were only zeros. And recently, the numbers have just shot up in terms of, people getting, used to the service and the system or whatever and getting active. So that sort of ticks what you've just said there, because when we looked at it, we literally had about a year of just zeros, no data. Then data started to turn up, and then we could actually see that, within the group, we have like 60% people actively using it. So that is data, as you rightly say, that we can actually use. But I want to get to somewhere else with this now, because I'm on your case.
Go.
Now, I'm in business, all right? And I see your service, digital marketing consultant and coach. My business is running sweet. I've been running for a year and a bit, or 2 years, let's say. and everything is nice and rosy. I've made my £200,000, which is what I wanted. My goal was set, and I got there. Right, my digital market, you know, I'm on Facebook or whatever I am on, and it's all running good. So why would I need you?
It's difficult to answer in that way, like you need me because of that. It's not really about why would you need me. It's more to do with what you're trying to do in your life. Because first of all, if you've come across me and for whatever reason you're having a look, and then for whatever reason I'm a fly on the wall in your world, and you're even considering my services, maybe what you've just said isn't entirely true, right? So when it comes down to a business that is making them, but let's put it another way though. If it comes down to business that's making a certain amount of money, that as far as that person is concerned, 200K for them is fine. My coach has always told me that your business doesn't make more money so you can buy more things. It makes more money so you can help more people.
Yeah.
So if you start thinking about the way that monopolies work, or the way that people amass money, and the way that we're programmed to think how disgusting it is because they've got all this money for themselves, well, that is also to dissuade you from the whole idea of you having enough wealth for you to help as many people as you want. So at 200K, I would put it to that person that if they are fine with what they've got, and that's a business in some way, shape, and it's not about them having my services, it's just a conversation right now. But for me, in some way, shape or form, I would say that they are doing a lot of introspection. And I would ask them to look at exactly how is their business impacting the world around them. Because if they've got to the level of saying, my business makes 200K, I'm fine, then to me, one, I'd have to say to you, it's not the kind of person I'd want to work with anyway.
Right.
Because the people that I work with are purpose driven. So they don't look at 200K, they look at 200,000 people that they've impacted. And then they look at the next 200,000 people. And talking about impact, as I told you before in a conversation to you, one of my favorite questions I ask people in initial conversation is a 20K question, where I say to them, I want them to imagine at the end of the month that they're getting 20K in their bank account. And I want them to really imagine, it's a future projection, that they're going to go into their bank account online and they're going to see 20,000 plus whatever's left in there right now. Because most people don't want to look. There's paper. Me, sometimes it's like I don't even want to open the envelope.
Yeah.
But it's about getting to that. It's about getting to that point of mindset in the future where you know you want to check, you want to go in there because it's a good thing. It feels good. But anyway, you log in, you see a 20,000 plus whatever dust you might have in there, and you know that that 20,000 is in there, and you've paid for everything. Everything is paid for. That 20,000 is basically sitting there saying to you, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" So my question to that person is, if you know that that money is going to come into your account every single month going further, every month going into the future, what are you going to do tomorrow? Because you have no need to go to work.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time when I speak to people, what I find them, they do, they fall into two groups. People will turn around and say, oh, I'll go on holiday. And then I ask them again, okay, so where on holiday? And they stutter and they fall and they go silent. And you start to realize that a lot of them, they don't know what they really want, one. And then a lot of the people who I'm looking for, who are struggling online, are the people who turn around and say, first of all, I'll take a holiday, I'll take my family on holiday, I'll treat my husband, I'll take my mum out, I'll do this, okay? And then when I come back, I'd probably invest the money, and then I'd look at building a school in Africa, or I'd look at making a private school and as soon as I've heard that person say that, I get the goosebumps, and I say, this is the person I need to work with. Because you see, that person can't stop at 200K. Because they're on a thing where in their soul, there's this purpose that they've got that they know is about using their skills to help other people. Now, my experience of this is that a lot of those people, beyond the whole website thing, is that they go into business with such a heart-centered way of thinking about things that they also don't make enough money to look after themselves.
Right.
Okay.
So just to stop you there, Kase, just a question for you. In terms of business, anybody that's looking to start a business now would think, okay, I've got a product, I'll put it out there. It's an online thing that I can do. Right, I need to get my website up and running. That's what,
that's most
business,
people.
That's most people. Get the website there, let everybody see what I've got to offer. In what you do, being a strategist and, a coach and so on, is that good? Why is that not?
Another thing that I tell people I start working with in the very beginning is you're going on digital detox. I don't want you to talk to me about anything to do with the internet. I don't want to hear about buttons.
One minute. Whoa. You see this? This is where the problem starts, right? Because no one says that. Okay? We talk digital, they're talking about more, right? Here I am. I'm standing in front of you. I'm saying I want to start my business. I want to go online. I want to get my things sorted and everything. And you're telling me about digital detox. I don't even start yet. So what is that? What's going on?
So the thing is that I'm a techie, I'm a geek, all right? So I do server-side administration, means I can do the code in the cloud and I can do the code behind the website. I can do the 360, but I'm a very analog person. So for example, I've got 3 boys, 24, 17 and 12. And for the ones that are still just coming out of secondary school, a lot of the time I'm telling them, until your handwriting is crisp, you can't be using the internet like that. You can't just be typing away like that. Exactly. Even when you do type, I want you to learn the old school version of where to put your hands on the keys rather than tapping them like this. And all of that is very important to me. So when it comes down to the internet, what I've found over the years that I've been doing this, and you have to take into account that when it comes down to selling online and all of this e-commerce, it's really new. It started from around the 90s, 1992 with Amazon. And before Amazon started to do what it was doing now, where it sells everything, it was really quite small. But that whole idea, and even before that, when it came down to commerce online, it was just about the money part. The thing is that as things have gone along, and I don't even remember this term, Web 2.0. Do you remember this term?
Yeah.
So what was happening, I think we might even be in 4.0 right now, but at the time, what was happening, when website 2.0 came about, it means that before this time, anybody who was on the internet only spoke outwards. So all of the businesses only told you what they wanted to tell you, and that was it. So the website would be what was called a brochure website. You just have information about us, we're good, if you want to contact us, call, right? And that was it. But Web 2.0 meant that you had people doing things like leaving reviews, checking out reviews, giving their 2 pence. You'd have people even be able to put information on websites that they didn't own through comments and whatever. So you started to now have another part of the web where it's not just what the business says, it's what other people are saying as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But when people now start thinking about doing this online thing, like I did back in the day, it's just a website. What's happening there is that they're only following what they've seen, which has nothing to do with their purpose or where they're going. It's like a kind of follow fashion kind of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I say digital detox, it means that the person is talking to me about stuff they think they're supposed to talk about. Facebook ads, Instagram, SEO. But if I ask them, who is your target market? Who is your ideal client? Why does your client want to buy from you? If 100 people came to you tomorrow, would you be able to serve them? Right? If your business gets 100 clients tomorrow and you can serve them, can you be sick? So none of this has got to do with installing software or pressing buttons or choosing the color of anything. It's what I call business fundamentals. Another question for a client or a person I'm working with is, how would you promote your business if the internet didn't exist? I work within the internet, right? I'm a marketer, but for me, that's where the core of that business is. How would they do it? What would they do? If they had to go into a room of people who may be interested in what they're selling, what would they say? If the person was a little bit scared about working with them, what would they say? You see what I'm saying to you? For me, the internet is not supposed to replace these fundamentals. It's supposed to enhance it. So the work that I do with people is to make sure that they themselves are able to understand their sales process, human to human, on a very, very minute level. If they say this, I would say this. What happens in the call? How do they feel? How do you feel? How do you want to make them feel? All of this, once we've got that mapped out, then we can digitize it. Because another way of looking at it is your website, if you've done this kind of work, is not supposed to look like anybody's website. It's not supposed to read like anybody's website because you are unique. Okay. But the fact is because everybody goes into this thinking, install WordPress, like robots, right? Install WordPress, fill in information, replace my phone number with the phone number that's there.
Right.
Voila. And then afterwards, they then say, how do I make money? Because they haven't done the basics of what business needs, is working out who you're selling to? Do they even want it? And how do you get them to convince themselves? Okay, this is important.
So
that's the
you have to really
yeah.
start knowing yourself, and you ask them the questions that are pertinent to the overall business, so that someone can say, okay, then this is what my business is about. Now, how do I then put that, process that into something that the world can see? Because unless you check yourself, it's just like life. If you don't check yourself first, how are you going to meet the perfect partner? Because you don't know yourself. Yeah. So yeah. I want to hold on to that for a minute. Digital. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll continue in a second. Kase, let me just introduce you again. Good evening, everybody. All of you that are with us this evening, thank you for joining us. We've got Kase Dean with us, who's a digital marketing consultant and coach. And as we said, do have your notebook and pen ready, because he will be giving nuggets of information, which I think will be really helpful to you all that are in your businesses already or thinking about starting. Okay.
Yeah.
And as one of our other guests mentioned earlier, 2 weeks ago, if you don't know, you don't know. So thank you very much. You're enlightening some of us.
You're opening up the door for many. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, digital detoxing. Oh wow, that is a powerful stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Let's
right. So I want to continue on.
People knowing people.
What do you think are the key elements of starting your business? I mean, you've spoken about the detox. Yeah. You've spoken about the direction in which people go to in order for them to have a Facebook presence, sorry, not Facebook, but a media presence. Right? Now, as we have just found out, because you have just stated on basically TikTok, one of our questions was that you need a presence there for a period of time before things start to recognize you as a service. We're talking about, Windows and those sort of things. So the question is, what are the key elements from that point on that you need to address in order for you to have a successful, or begin to have a successful digital presence?
Well, if I could just dial it back a little bit to what you're saying about a certain amount of time, and then you have this presence online. I think about what I was saying to you about Google coming along and taking snapshots of your business. Remember when they say, I'm ready for my close-up, which means, everything's fine.
Yeah.
I would say until you get to a certain point, and back and answering your question, until you get to a certain point where the content on your website, from the headline to all of the way that the code is, until that's actually correct, I wouldn't even think about going online. You see, the thing is, the problem that people have with websites is that it becomes a vanity project very quickly. So I spoke to somebody the other day, and I always hear it. I know exactly what I want my website to look like.
Right.
Like, no one cares what you want your website to look like, because it's not for you. It's for the people who come into your website. So you can. I remember one of my clients. She told me, I want to have a gate with a butterfly on it, and then the gate opens. You come in. It's like, what's this got to do with anybody coming to your website? Okay, let's put it another way.
Yeah.
Let's put it another way. Let's put it into some concrete.
Yeah.
Let's think about where we are right now in this crisis. Okay, and let's think about parents. And I'm not going to do the single parenting, because that's just ridiculous. But in a sense, I come from a single parent family, so don't get it wrong. What I'm trying to say to you is, let's just think about a family, husband, wife, like my own, working at home, got kids at home, and they're homeschooling them. But they don't know who to speak to talk about the fact that they feel a bit stressed or a bit upset at the moment, or a bit, overwhelmed by the whole situation. They've got their work to do, their boss is cussing them, saying to them, where's this, that, and the rest of it, and they got their kids also kind of like not really involved. They're worried about their kids' future. So what most people would do at some point in their little time is go onto the internet and they'll start doing searches. These searches aren't something that is publicized, they're personal to them. And so they're going to start typing in things online, such as, and we have to be very clear about this, it's not how do I homeschool my children. It might be something along the lines of, how do I get my children to listen to me?
Right.
More to the point, right?
Okay.
You see how we've gone from one person is like, I want to do an online website. I hope you can see the inception that we're doing here. So the website person is like, oh, I want to do an online website. It's do homeschooling. And it's going to say in bright lights, homeschooling. But they haven't done the work to understand that's not what the parent cares about right now, to even understand that you can help them with the homeschooling part. They want to understand that you understand that right now they want to be alleviated from this feeling of working with their kids, but their kids are not actually behaving well while they're teaching them. They want to learn how to become a parent teacher.
Right.
So they're going to type that in to Google. Google is going to show them websites, and the most important website results they're going to come across are not going to be home pages. It's not going to be whatever it is.com.
Right.
It's going to be an inner page where that person who's built that website has taken the time to research, think about that particular problem, and write something to address that problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you understand it?
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
And done correctly, when that person lands on the website, reads down, starts to feel better, whether or not you call it dopamine or feeling good or whatever, they're going to want to have something to continue with.
Mhm.
Now, most people who are under website business, they're going to go, call me and I'll help you. But that's what is called a commercial intent offer. Call me, even free consultation is what is called a commercial intent offer. And if you've understood that experience from the buyer's point of view at the moment, you need to understand that when people land on any website, they fall into two categories. On one side, we have what I call today buyers.
Yeah.
They have commercial intent. They basically got their credit card in hand and they're coming to buy because they've done their due diligence. They've
Right.
checked out this, checked out that. They know what they're looking for and they're coming to buy. Okay. But at the moment, when we talk about toilet paper, we're talking about looking after the children. So
Yeah.
they've done their homework. On the other side, you've got what are called someday in the future buyers. Someday buyers. These are people who feel like maybe the answer's here, or maybe it's on the next website because I've only checked out two. Okay. It's not to say they're not interested, but they're still in the throes of trying to gather information that convinces them that they're making the best choice.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a website that is only focused on buying and selling, then it means that you're only focused on the today buyers. Now, this is the statistics that I want everybody to get in their heads if they're serious about online. Today buyers make up less than 3% of your website traffic.
Wow.
Today buyers. People come with commercial intent. They make up less than 3%. Think about it for yourself. If you've got a serious problem on your hands, how are you going to land on the first website and put your credit card details in? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to shop around.
Yeah.
So less than 3%, which means that any website that's not been built to actually tap in to the emotion, not play with it or manipulate it, but human to human, I actually feel what you're going through. Yeah. Any website doesn't do that and it's only concentrated on buy now. Here's a 3% discount or 30% discount or whatever. Yeah. Commercial is only focusing on those people and it's completely ignoring the someday and the future buyers. So put another way, if you look in your actual back office of your data, you'll find that in Google Analytics, one of the figures to look for is what we call a bounce rate. And a lot of the websites that I look at that have been built in this way, they have a high bounce rate, which means that the person landed on the website and left without doing anything. They didn't check another page, they didn't click on anything. And if they do land on the website, we need to think about how do they come to this decision that it's not for me.
Right.
If it's for the person that is looking for help with how to look after their children, and they click through and they read the headline and the headline doesn't talk to them directly, they're going to leave. If they read the headline and it encourages them to move down into the rest of the text and something doesn't catch them, they're going to leave. So the one thing that I want to teach people within building their website content before we get to building a website, because we do what is called content first website design. Yeah. So until the content is ready, we don't touch anything to do with the web and coding and putting online, right? Yeah. So what we're going through is what I call the ACEON, the ACEON framework. Okay? A, C, E for Edward, O for Oscar, N for November. Okay? And that is the framework used for effective marketing. Okay?
Oh, okay.
The A is for attract. When they land on your website, you need to attract them to your website by letting them know that you understand what they're going through, by highlighting the problem they have that they do not want. That's the first thing you need to do. Make sure, no matter what you're doing, you need to highlight the problem they have that they do not want. The next thing that you need to do is convince them with what is called the subheadline that on this page, they're going to have the answer to that problem, to the result that they want that they do not have. Okay. When we're going to go down from A, C into E, which is educate, this is the bulk of the actual web page. It might be a video, it might be text, but here we're going to educate them on the problem they have, the different solutions that are available. We're going to educate them not on we're the best, but just that. We're going to act like their trusted advisor.
Yeah.
Act like the expert we are, and let them know that I know what problem you're going through. And regardless of whether or not you pick me or not, this is what you need to know about how to buy this kind of thing or solve this kind of problem. So then we get into the offer. This is very key for most websites because they don't have any way to connect with the someday buyers. Remember, 97% or more of people who are seeking information.
Yeah.
So now we have an offer, which is going to be no risk. Just put in your details. It has to be valuable, not just any kind of lead magnet. And we also have work to do on that to make sure that it's really valuable for the people. So that when they get it and they go through it, they're like, wow, this is free. Imagine what's going to be like if I actually pay these people.
Yeah.
The last one is N for nurture, because in the back office, because we know 97% of the people hitting the website aren't ready to buy, we're going to continue that education in emails, not spam, but in emails that are going to continue the education. And at a point, depending, we can do it two ways. Either you can say after the fourth email, I'm going to hit them with the sales message. That could work. But what I like to do is go down deeper into it and do what is called behavioral marketing. So if they, for example, open your emails all the time, they get a star. If they click on other pages within your website, they get a star. If when you send them something and that you're giving them a new resource, they download it, they get a star. So we might say that if they get 4 out of 5 stars, now we can send them a sales email because we know that they're interested in that stuff. We know that the stuff that they're seeing is to help their education. And because we've done all this pre-work to build a website, we now know that they're ready potentially to buy. And we can offer them something low cost, or we could offer them a call. But you see, the problem with most people is that they want to get some money now. My question to somebody else the other day, I posted on Facebook, is, it was just a cheeky thing. You want to get rich quick, but why?
Well, yeah, that's
but why?
Yeah. that is a question that not many people can answer without saying because. Because there's no real answer to that, you know. It's just,
why are you in a hurry?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, obviously, with Kase, with what you've just said there, I mean, that is amazing.
Oh,
and I'm sure, I'm hoping that everybody has written that down. If not, we can share that again. But it brings it all back again to the personality of the person behind the website or who's running the business. So it's like dealing with somebody face to face that is coming to you with a problem and saying, I've got this problem, can you help me solve it? You know, how can I solve it?
So that's that conversation, isn't it? Because the other thing, I remember building a website for there's a Croatian family. They had a family-owned business from the 40s. They've been through the Serbian war. They've built this villa, and they weren't getting, their holiday period runs from April to September, but they weren't getting enough money. So I hired a copywriter who would understand what I'm telling you now, and we worked on a website. And this guy, he's a good friend of mine up to today, Emmanuel. What we did is that I interviewed the family members, each of them, to tell the story of the business and how it happened and whatever, and then sent those recordings to the copywriter, who then turned that into copy in the way that the web needs it, SEO, and so on and so forth. Two things. When the father of the business was getting quite old and was at this precise moment, I was dealing with his son. His son, again, you said dealing with the personality. I would say dealing with the personal goals of the people is more important. I think
Personal goals.
what they're trying to achieve. So when I got this project from this guy, it was the son, and he was taking over the family business, and at the heart of him was making his father proud.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you really want to help beyond just, oh, your website looks good. So I understood that was a motivation for him. So I had to tap into and appropriate what he felt for his dad, what he felt for the business, what he knew about the people, his love for creation, all this kind of stuff. We recorded it, sent it to the copywriter. It took the weeks, whatever, to build a website when ready. We sent the website, we launched the website, and the son showed the website to the dad, and the dad read through it. It had all of the different profiles of the family and all this kind. The dad cried.
Yeah,
absolutely, because it was.
Dad cried because he saw his heart like on the screen. 1, 2. I kept getting when speaking to Blaženko, he kept telling me that there were people who would come because they would have we had a map, and it would tell them how to get there, and they would come and collect the people. It was a really, really heartfelt business they had, right? So he was telling me that when he met people, they would say to him, "It feels like we already know you."
Wow.
Understand that?
Wow.
Yeah. So there was
emotional connection.
It's going from that, isn't it? I mean, why wouldn't you do it any other way? I mean, obviously you said it. If you don't know, you don't know. But that's what the internet's for. It's to bridge the gap. It's for you to be able to reach out and touch somebody. So if your
story,
if your thing's to go out there and just sell your widget and just be like rolling the dice and just see probability, or if I hit enough people up, some people will buy. You're gonna burn out from that anyway. 1, 2. Even if they do buy from you, how are you creating loyalty? The reason why most people worry about their prices, put another part of business and the business development. Another reason why people worry about their prices, and a lot of the time when I'm speaking to people, a lot of the people I work with are professional service providers. So they put their soul into their work. It's people who teach, or their mentor, their therapists, and even other people who do consulting, for example. They still are people who use their expertise, okay? But it can still work for products as well. But when you've got this kind of person working on a website project, you want to make sure that they understand that maybe they've done their pricing because 1, they thought they would just follow what the other people were doing. 2, business school told me to do market in I forget what it's called, to go into the market and cut your prices. This, a lot of the stuff that people heard are for big businesses. A lot of what we're doing is person to person. And they're not on a massive level. So when these people are doing their prices, and I'm talking about what they do, I'm always saying to them, "Are you happy with your price? What your price?" And they're like, "No." So why is it so low? And they're like, "No one's gonna pay that." And so I remember talking to a coach, and she said to me, my other coach was telling me that I should put my prices up. I said, "Well, raise them." And I think she had it at maybe 497, and she was raising it to 3,000. Again, money is relative. Money is relative. Somebody's 3,000 is change for somebody else. Okay, but her price.
You're right. You're right there, Kase. But you see, one of the things about that, in terms of being in business, is that it's the confidence of the level of what your product is. Because what you're really doing is you're saying, okay, I know my product is worth 200, but I've seen what the market is and whatever, and because that person hasn't gone behind to say, this is what I'm about, this is my soul, this is why I'm selling you this thing, because I am so proud of it. I am not going to go lower because I am confident what I'm giving you is a real good deal based on what I've provided for you to read, for you to get into the back catalog and say, you know what, this person, I'm connected to this person. So I want to buy from this person because I feel whatever happens, even if they send me this thing via, a mail order, whatever, if something goes wrong, that person I feel will come back and try to sort it out with me. I have a connection. And, that is important, because when we're in business and we're all talking about which way we go, what direction we go, and what digital market we want to conquer, we first of all, as you rightly say, right from the beginning, we have to know our product and feel confident and versed in what we're doing so that we can
develop it, isn't it? Or develop it, because the other thing that I find from people is that they get seduced by what we call the SaaS way of doing things. Now, SaaS is software as a service. Okay, that's what SaaS is. So
software as a service.
Software as a service. SaaS. Now, when you've got let me think. When you've got Facebook even, or you've got some kind of app, these are things that people want to buy, and in their minds they go along. I don't do anything. They look at it, they tap, they put their money in, and cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching in the background. The problem that you've got with this kind of model is that even all the way back to Microsoft, who make Windows software, their model is ship it and we'll fix it later. Okay, so when you start getting into startups and venture capitalists and Dragon's Den and all this kind of stuff, people get confused and start following that kind of way of doing things. And they think, just get to market, just get to market. And so they start believing this one thing, which is, oh, don't be a perfectionist. It's not about being a perfectionist, but you yourself need to understand that you stand behind your product 100%, whatever the service is. And you know, for example, if I talk about what I do with people, and I'm not here to talk about my price or anything like that, but the way that I tell people, especially after they've worked with me, I can tell you, a client I'm working with now, Karen Cruz, life coach for young people. I remembered in the beginning, we were talking about how much it's going to cost to make for negotiations, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm working with her. She's telling me, without me saying anything, Kase, you're worth 3 times that. You're worth 3 times. I feel bad. She feels bad when I'm working for her, doing things for her, because I'm going above and beyond for her. But my business is built in such a way that if I'm working for somebody one-to-one, I can only do a certain amount of people one-to-one, because there's only a certain amount of hours in a day. My business is built a certain way to be able to make money without me doing that. But the thing is that when I'm working for somebody, I go to bat for them. And I tell them straight, I'll be shopping thinking about you, thinking about how to solve your problem. I'll be reading books and be like, oh, that could help Karen. Note it down. Need to tell her about that. And so
you would be a strategist then, like a business strategist.
Say again?
You would be like a business strategist then, in that sense, to try and sort of, as you said at the beginning, deep dive first into, okay, what is it you want to achieve? What is your product, or what is your business, before even saying, okay, we're going to think about building a website. You want to know first about them,
who they are,
and who
for sure. And it's not just, you know what, I want to know about them because I'm just curious. I love people, even though they annoy me. I love people. At the same time, yes, I'm curious about them, but at the same time, my job, even if I'm doing a 30-minute free call with them, is for them to get to know themselves. To within that time, like a dojo where it's just me and you, we're just practicing, don't worry about how you threw the punch, whatever. It's just, while we're here together, it's a safe forum for you to just dig down and find out about what you really want to do. Take the time. I'm not going to rush you. When I just asked you what you want to do in your life, because I had somebody the other day who I met on Facebook, and she's got an invention. Okay, that's it. She tapped me up. She said to me, Kase, could you help me sell this invention? Oh, it's an invention. What's she talking about? Invention. So I called her up and I said to her, could you tell me more about the invention? First thing she said to me, yeah, well, I'm not too sure if I should tell you. Well, how's that going to work? So already I understand that her mindset is on a kind of, it feels that there's not enough, that there's a lack in the world, and she said to me, someone's going to steal my idea. It's like, well, okay, well, first of all, that's silly without being rude. But secondly, they can't steal you, can they? So whatever it is you're going to be talking to me about, I'm pretty sure there's some of you in it. They can't steal that. So can you just tell me? So she told me about this invention. It's for a buggy, and it helps the buggy do this, that, and the other thing. And she said to me, I've already sent it off. I've been researching people to draw up the designs for it and whatever. I said, whoa.
Yeah.
Stop a moment.
Yeah.
Who have you spoken to that told you they want this? Huh?
Yeah.
Nah, man. The first thing you need to do is to go out. I don't know. I can tell you how to do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, go out, and until you spoke to 50 people and not said to them, do you want to buy this? If you're telling me that you've got this invention that's going to help people with the buggy, then we're at what is called point A.
Yeah.
Problem, what you think they have that they do not want. So I want you to go out and speak to 50 people and ask them, you know, when you're in traveling around and blah, 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 and you've got your buggy, what problems do you have when you come against stairs and lifts and whatever? And I want you to just listen to what they tell you. Because not only are you going to get to understand them, I'm guaranteed they're going to tell you something that you didn't even think of as a solution that you can build for them. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So you need to find out whether or not they want it. And you know what's going to happen? If you get 50 people telling you something that says they want exactly that invention, you've got your first 50 customers.
Yeah.
Better yet, if you speak to 50 people and they don't mention anything to do with your invention, but they all seem to, 80% seem to mention another problem that you know you can solve, build that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, as you say, I think one of the things about the digital marketing is that I'm looking at the point of view that someone's coming to you and saying, okay, I want this idea turned into gold. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? When we come to you, we want solutions. Yeah. It's good that we can talk to you about who we are, what direction we want to go to, but what would be your sort of top 10 or top 5 tips in order for someone to come to you and say, I want this, and for them to receive that at the end of it because they've done certain instructions?
I'm gonna try something now. Let's just see if this. Okay, so you disable the share on the screen, so I can't share the screen. So let me just,
okay. No, that would be for another time.
let me just. That's okay. Let me just.
Also, one of the other things, we've got some questions by some of the people who are in the group, so we're going to be firing some questions thereafter. You want to answer mine, or
I'm gonna ask you a question first.
Actually, that was one of the questions. Actually.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, right, there you go.
Okay, so let's get it fine. What is the repeat the question again? Let's just go from that one. We go through them now.
Repeat that.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the questions is top 5 tips for startup businesses online strategy. So your 5 top tips.
Okay, so the first tip that I would say that you're going to do is, first thing is work out how much you want to make.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah.
How much do you personally want to make from this business? And when I say personally, I'm also saying you want to start taking away tax and expenses. Because when I get back to what I was saying to you about the pricing, you can say whatever that amount is that person is thinking about, right? Whatever that amount is, they want to either triple it or quadruple it.
Yeah.
To see what the revenue from the business should be. 1. 2, they also want to think about whatever it is that they're thinking they should be doing. If they get to the coach I'm talking about is 56 and she's already starting to think about, I don't want to be doing all of this all the time. You know, I want to be enjoying my life at a certain point. So at any point you're sick or you want to take a step back, how much should it cost, or how much does your business need to make for you to have somebody else doing what you do? You see, this is a planning. If you plan your business around you, yeah, you should be trying to build your business in a way that it can be sold. Now, if somebody comes to you to sell your business and you tell them that it's all in here, they'll take their 30 million and go. Because they ain't got time to keep on calling you every moment to see how this works. And if you croak it, then the business stops running. Okay. So from the very beginning, you want to start thinking about how to run your business without you. So first of all, what you want. Secondly, you get onto the revenue, right?
Yeah.
Once you start to look at that from that point, you then start to have a little think about what kind of structure is needed within the business to support the life you want. So we have a few questions. How much money do you want to make? How much time do you want to spend working on your business, which is also important? And you want to start thinking about what kind of business structure is needed to actually support that kind of life that I'm actually wanting for myself to make that kind of money. You also started looking then about making sure quadruple you've got the revenue roughly. After that, it's time for you to start looking at your actual client. Point A, yeah, is the problem that they have, that they do not want, okay? And I want you to think about it in the sense that you're drawing an A in a circle, and then you're drawing a line all the way to point B.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to articulate both these things so that if somebody speaks to you, they're able to say, that's me. Finally, you're here. So you want to be able to articulate the problem they have that they don't want, and you want to be able to articulate the result that they want that they don't have.
Yeah, okay.
You need to then move on to building exactly what fits in the middle, which is the vehicle that takes that person from A until B. Until you have that, you have no right worrying about logos or websites or lawyers or any of that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying to you? Because by the time you start working at the problem and the result of people, it means that you're going to have to start doing what is called market research. You're going to have to start doing what is called competitor research.
Yeah.
And competitive research is very important because it's not just about, oh my God, somebody's already doing it. You know, the person that you talk to and says, my idea is so unique. Well, then your idea is dead because nobody else really thought about it because nobody else really wants it. It's good for you to see competition. It's good. But what you want to do is go out and check your competition.
Right.
And be critical. Really, and almost like your ideal client, the person you really want to help, has sent you in their stead to go and check out the competitors. You're not thinking about it on, oh, I'm better. Think about it from your ideal client's point of view.
Yeah.
And start working out, what are they missing? One, what are they missing? That's your opportunity. And what are they doing well? Because if they're doing something that already works, you ain't got to reinvent the wheel. You need to look at, what can I do to improve it? So you've got competitive research, you've got market research, what is happening, and competitors. It's not just about going out there and saying to yourself, other websites. It's not as simple as that. I would say you need to start thinking about it from the point of view, what are all of the solutions that are vying for my potential clients' attention?
Yeah.
Could it be podcasts? Could it be books? You understand what I'm saying to you? There's a lot.
But look at all of them. Look at all of those areas. Okay.
All of it. And you see already, I can hear there's a lot of people like, wow, that's a lot of work. And that's where I'm like, well, we come back to you then, because maybe this isn't the business that you need to be doing. Because if that's how you feel, and you're thinking, I just want to get some money, it's like there is no magic bullet to give you.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You can go and loan the money, and maybe, but there's nothing that's going to propel you to get up when it's cold at night.
Okay.
Me, when I'm feeling a bit sick or a bit, it happens for a moment, but then I get this fire of motivation because I think about the people that I'm working with. And say, if I'm sick, all right? But I have to say, nah, I need to go and do that thing for that person. And I'm fired up.
Right.
Can I ask you, you said something earlier and I stuck with it because it stayed in my mind. You said that you're working with someone and you can't work with them 24/7. There aren't enough hours. You have other things that you have to do. So in a sense, what you spoke about was a strategy in which you are not only working as the person to one, there is a kind of group analogy of what you are doing, right? So that you make money elsewhere. Because can you translate that to someone who is in their business, doing what they're doing, but, you know, I think the learning was you only have one income. Yeah, diversify what you have so that other people, yeah, because I heard that you skipped on it, but I felt it was very important because it was a strategy that you are using. You're actually saying that, you know, you can work with individuals one-to-one, but you have something elsewhere that is the company, is the trading, is the coaching that you do for multiple amount of people that actually brings in money as well, which is important to you. You didn't say that directly, but
no, you hit the nail on the head. So I'm gonna put it in this way. The first thing I want people to think about is that your business is supposed to work for you. You're not supposed to work for your business.
Yeah.
Okay. When I talked about getting that itch a long time ago, and I was like, I don't want to work for this guy. He's an idiot. He doesn't respect me, and so on and so forth. And I start my own business. I'm going to be my own boss. Well, you end up working for the worst boss in the world, because this boss wants to work 60 hours a week because he has to, because he has to put food on the table. This boss has to because he doesn't want to go back to work, right? So he's relentless, and you're going to get burnt out. And eventually, you're not going to be able to run this business. And in actual fact, you're an employee. The business needs to be built in a way that it can operate without you. My whole role within what I do, regardless of titles, is to help people transform their knowledge, expertise, and check it out, because I had a lady call me the other day and said to me, I do affiliate market. I don't like the fact that the Asians have got all of the hair and I want to be able to open my business. Well, first of all, it would be great for you to research the actual hair care market and realize that until you get to a certain size, you have nothing to negotiate with. Okay, so ready.
I'm sorry, Kase, I'm going to have to interrupt you a little.
Go on. I've got questions. You've got more questions, sorry.
Okay, and we're quite aware of the time as well, because we're sort of running low on time also. One of our members has asked, what if you are a financial services compliance consultant? How would I attract customers if I do not have a website as of yet? they use LinkedIn only.
Ooh, so LinkedIn strategy is no different from a website strategy. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. Instagram, Facebook, your website, it's all the same. You're putting content in place. Without you understanding your buyer's journey from what is their problems through to different solutions, I've got a workshop called the 10 by 10 matrix. Okay, it's how to create 2 years worth of content in 2 hours. And what we're doing is that we're digging into what are the different steps to take somebody from one problem to solution, and then we work out the steps that they would need to go through to create that, to solve that solution themselves. And then we're going to create content to actually help them. A lot of the time when I said to you about ACEON, the O is the offer. So I'm going to tell you a quick thing that this guy can do, or lady can do, when it comes down to his financial services. First of all, research and find out what problems people have that you're solving. Finances. When you start, you're going to be very, very generic. When somebody like a life coach is saying that she wants to help schools improve retention, what she's really trying to do is help the head teacher not get a divorce.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not the kids that are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Understand? She's trying to help the head teacher be credible in front of his staff. Until you dig down into your market and understand people at level, nothing's going to help. Nothing's going to help because they don't care about what you're trying to say. They'll be able to smell it a mile off that you're just trying to sell to them. You need to go out there and do what I call value first, profit generation.
Right.
So what I suggest you do is, first of all, think about the problem, and there's going to be loads of them. List all the problems you can think of that they've got on a minute level. They don't know what financial systems are. They don't know the difference between this financial system and that one. Pick one and then go through the bullet points of how you would help somebody understand that. Then I'm really going through part of what I teach people, right? And then I want you to grab your video recorder and I just want you to speak through as if to say you're telling somebody how to solve each step.
Yeah.
Now you can send those audio recordings, which shouldn't be more than 5 minutes, to rev.com and they'll transcribe it for $1 per minute. Now you've got your audio in text. Now you can split that up into blog posts, knowing that you have a clear solution at the end that you can lead somebody through because you've started from the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely.
Now
We'll have to stop you
Kase,
there.
it is beautiful, and you know what? We are going to need a lot more time, right? So I'm going to ask you, in front of everyone right now, Kase, we need to work out how we're going to do some training for people on the group, and we need to, do it so that people can actually get some kind of information and
and help.
The informed choices, to make informed choices, because
Exactly that.
many people want to do things, but they jump onto the bandwagon and don't realize the inordinate amount of work that needs to be put in the background in order for you to get what you really want. So I'm gonna invite you to come back, and we're gonna talk specifically around what projects we can work together to ensure that we provide people with relevant information. It's been wonderful.
Very informative.
You know what?
Very.
This is one of the times where I sat back, I listened, I was taking copious notes. So was Lorraine, right? And I think that
for the members,
and I think that for us as well, you were hitting points that we had witnessed within ourselves, but we didn't really know what was actually going on. Yeah, in terms of the data, never would I have thought that we literally had a year and a bit of data of pure zeros.
But you kept going though, right? Because the purpose was there.
Yeah.
As my coach tells me, his girlfriend's a farmer. He said, if you put a seed in the ground and after 3 weeks you come back and nothing's grown, do you give up? No, you keep on watering it. But you got to care about what you're growing in the first place.
Yes, absolutely.
So continue and gather that data. So obviously they say data is everything.
It's fundamental.
Now.
It's key
fundamental.
Now. Yeah.
But obviously what you're saying is that 2 to 3 years, that's when you'll start to see the meat behind, the meaty stuff from the data.
You can actually see it before, but I would say that the best thing for people to think about isn't so much, I don't want people to think, let me put my website online and just let it run. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you have not got a website already, don't get a website. Honestly, sit down. I'm telling you.
Big thing.
I'm telling you.
We're going to argue that case,
No, I'm telling you. Don't get a website. sit down and start working at some of these points that we're talking about, because if you can't translate to somebody who is sitting in front of you, your website can't do it. You're going to have this literal buff, bluff, blah, blah, blah text on your website that you think is interesting, but no one cares a jot about. And I guarantee 2 years from now, your website won't do anything. I'm telling you, if you've got a website and you're thinking, it needs to be improved, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't tweak it.
We're definitely going to have to bring you back. Right now it's blowing up.
I think you know what it is. I think that what you've just said there has actually put us in a bit of a quandary. Yeah, because these are information we need to get to people, because they just think, we all think, we all need a website, and that's our solution.
No,
we do, you do, but you need it to help your business grow, not just be up there like a vanity thing where you're like, it looks good. That's not enough.
It's got to reflect you, and it's got to reflect what you are giving.
And it's got to be functional. It's got to help your business, and it's got to help the people that you're trying to help.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
While you're sleeping.
Kase.
Okay,
wonderful.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. It's been a learning curve.
We will bring you back.
We will. We will be chasing you back.
It's been good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Appreciate it.